Hello friends, if you're new, welcome. If you are a fan or a subscriber, welcome back and thank you for the patronage. Today I am going to keep talking about Jim Jones, with him growing up. This is a continuation of Jim Jones, his childhood. Not much else I need to say, so let's get on with the video. Jim kept his commitment to religion, even at the same time he was obsessed with Hitler. Myrtle Kennedy and her husband moved to Richmond in 1942, but moved back to Lynn that same fall. Jimmy lived with them in Richmond during summer vacation. While in Richmond, Jim made friends with a 10-year-old boy named Lester Wise. They were both into religion, so they attended the local Pentecostal church 3 to 4 times a week. When he returned to Lynn, for some reason he felt the need to lecture his cousins about sex. Of course, most of them were farm kids and knew about sex. In that day, it was just that polite society never talked about it. All of this weirdness made him marginalized by his peers by the time he started high school. However, there were 2 things in which he excelled: conversation and eliciting sympathy. It was his conversational skills that kept him from being a total outcast. When Jim was in his early teens, a rumor spread through Lynn that his dad was a drunk. In addition to people seeing him stagger down the street, he would disappear for long periods of time. The town just assumed that he went on drinking binges. Aside from the Jones family, nobody knew about old Jim's breakdown in 1932. So when the rumors started flying about old Jim, the family didn't bother to correct anyone. In that time, mental illness was looked upon as worse than alcoholism. In reality, old Jim's body was giving up and his scarred lungs were failing. Young Jim started dressing differently to shore up more sympathy and support. In general, boys in Lynn only wore white shirts and dress slacks to church, but Jim started wearing them every day. He also behaved strangely in school. Among other things, when he was walking between classes, he never answered when someone else initiated conversation. He never entered a classroom until the bell rang, and then he would always sit in the back. In the summer of 1945, 14-year-old Jim not only formed a town baseball team, but also organized a league with teams from other towns. Even more impressive, he did it all by himself, from getting merchants to donate money for bats and balls to getting players. He didn't let the law stop him either. Despite being too young for a license, he drove his team to games. This didn't last long, though. The team would gather in the loft above the Jones garage to hear him lecture about the strategy for their next game. There were always a lot of animals around because Jim took in strays. He genuinely seemed to care for animals. However, one day, some boys spied him luring a puppy over the trapdoor of the loft, and he let it fall to the ground. After that, nobody wanted to be on his team, and the league fell apart. Things weren't going well in his home life either. His mother was always exasperated because of his disabled father, and she wasn't much of a mother to Jim. Most of the time she ignored him, but when she did speak to him, she would yell about actual or perceived disobedience. Well, friends, we've come to the end of another episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, hit that like button, press the subscribe button, and if you would like to know when I come out with new videos, hit the bell next to the subscribe button. My Twitter, Discord, email, and PayPal links are in the description, along with the source that I used for this episode. Please leave comments in the comment section. I love hearing from you. You can also leave your requests down there, or you can DM me on Twitter, or you can email me. Question everything and never be afraid. Here are a few videos from my library. If you have not watched them yet, go ahead and watch them and tell me what you think. Until next time, friends, goodbye.